Hello, hello. We will start in a minute.
Hi Vishnu, so nice to see you.
Hello, Rochelle. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so we are getting started. All right, so today I see few new members. So just so you know, every week we do like a 30-minute book review. We read a book every week. So I will be reviewing for the first 30 minutes, and then the next 1 hour is going to be the healing session. So today's schedule, we have the wonderful, beautiful book, The Art of Happiness, a handbook for living. It is from, oh, I have it right here if you want to see. It's a wonderful book. So this book, I had it in physical copy. Otherwise, all of the books is usually the Kindle version. But this is like literally a handbook that we cannot live without. I cannot live without, at least, because the principles in this book are like, I wish after reading this book, every time I think I wish I was born as a Buddhist because it's such a fundamental, essential concepts of life that I wasn't taught while I was young, but it is so beautiful, but never too late. At least now I get to learn all of these as well as share it with you. And today we are going to have communicating your throat. So it's all about communication, especially most of you in the call with me today are either healers or facilitators or coaches, people who are trying to change others' life, right? We have to express ourselves. We should have confidence and belief in ourselves and express our truth. That's how we change our client's life. So this is an essential part of that, and communicating your throat, your truth, which we will be healing your throat chakra. And we also have a beautiful 15-minute silent meditation and manifestation. Since it's all about chakras, we will be doing our manifestation through chakras today. Okay, The Art of Happiness, a handbook for living. So what this particular book is about, of course, it comes from the Buddhist philosophy backgrounds. And last week, we read the book, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which comes from a completely different part of the world, which comes from Indian background, as well as it was a book that formed the Hindu philosophy. But if you read this book and that book, you will be able to see how the information is very, very similar. So for me, I don't have a specific religion. I look and read everything that is available, which is going to improve our lives, and pick and choose different principles from different religions that's going to help us in our personal lives. So whatever feels true to you, it's just picking and drawing from all of these beautiful consciousness books is what I would like to call it as. Okay, going in. Just a small another word about this book in general is it kind of lists all the sources of happiness, right? What true happiness really is, where is it coming from, and what are the sources of our happiness. And finally, the book also says about compassion. Compassion towards yourself and compassion towards others, that becomes a major tool that we can use to tap into our own true happiness. So let's look in detail. I believe that the very purpose of our life is to seek happiness. And all of us know that that particular statement is true, because every one of us are running towards this thing called happiness. Happiness in terms of all the different areas of our lives, whether it is financial or our health or our relationships with people. So regardless of which area of our lives, all we are trying to do in this whole life is seek happiness. And one thing that I would like to just mention as a note, which is not from this book, is what is called the emotional guidance scale. And what that is basically the true love, joy, happiness, all of these positive emotions. So we have two set of emotions, right? The positive emotions versus the negative emotions, sadness, worry, guilt, shame, etc. And our soul, spiritually speaking, our soul kind of resides in our heart. And when we are feeling happiness, love, joy, the positive emotions, we are kind of in tune with our soul. And the lower emotions, the negative emotions, right? Anger, sadness, worry, and all of that, the lower the emotional vibrations that we are facing, that we are feeling, the wider we are from our soul's truth. So in this statement again, as it says, I believe that the very purpose of our life is seek happiness. Happiness is completely in tune with our soul. So emotions, again, spiritually speaking, comes from our soul kind of giving us a guidance that it's like a guidance scale for us. The more negative emotions we are facing, it tells us the perspective or the thoughts we are thinking is away from our soul's truth. And when we are in complete joy and happiness and love and abundance, that just says we are completely aligned with our soul. And that is why we human beings are designed and manufactured in this way, where we are seeking happiness, meaning we are seeking to be aligned with our soul. So that's my viewpoint on the whole topic. As I said, that doesn't come from this book. I believe that happiness can be achieved through training the mind, right? If the whole purpose of our life is to seek happiness, then the only question is, how do I receive or reach my happiness? And here is the one line statement to it. I believe that happiness can be achieved through training the mind. And those are the words from Dalai Lama listed in the book. Okay, so he says here, as you can see, he says training the mind, but to him, the definition of mind is much more than what we refer to as the intellect or the cognitive ability, right? That's what we think our definition to mind would be. But his definition to mind is much broader than that. And he uses this Tibetan word called sem, which has a broader meaning, which is the psyche or the spirit, which includes the intellect and feeling, which includes heart and mind. So when he says about training the mind, it is not just the intellect side of things, it is also the heart and mind, the intellect and the feeling element that we have. Begin by identifying those factors which lead to happiness and those factors which lead to suffering. And the way to achieve eternal happiness is by gradually eliminating those factors which lead to suffering and cultivating those which lead to happiness. Now, that is very, very simple to say, but in order to apply it practically in our lives, we will have to literally look at our thoughts every second of the day, observe our thoughts, and anything that we see is making us feel bad. For example, you might be regretting something that happened yesterday. You might be regretting a past relationship that changed your life, or that kind of degraded your life. So all of these regrets, when you are thinking those thoughts, it is making you suffer, right? You are feeling negative emotions. So that's what is what called as suffering. So again, what he suggests is when you know that the type of thoughts that you are thinking is bringing you suffering, then those are the factors that is towards the suffering side of things. He says, how can we train our mind in such a way that we can let go of those negative thoughts and cultivate the positive thoughts in our mind? Again, it might take a lifetime worth of things to be done in order to reach there, but that's the point. The purpose of our existence is to seek happiness. Now, the same sentence comes in the book over and over again in different ways. If at all you can remember only one statement from this book, it's going to be this statement, which is, our life purpose is to seek happiness. And even though each one of us, all 8 billion human beings on earth, are going to have their own unique soul purpose, but still the overall goal here is for us to seek a happiness. And your happiness is going to be different from my happiness, right? That's how both of us differ. You are unique and I am unique. What gives me happiness is going to be different from what gives you happiness. Which in other words as well, we are led by our soul to seek certain things in our lives. And me being in this particular version as Vishnupriya, I might be seeking happiness in a different way, whereas my same soul might come in the next birth as a different person who might have different meaning to happiness, who might seek happiness in a different way. So even though it's the same soul, every incarnation we come in, we will have different set of things that's going to give us happiness. So that's what we are going towards. But isn't a life based on seeking personal happiness by nature self-centered or self-indulgent, right? This might be a statement, a limiting belief that we might have, that isn't that when we are going towards and seeking our personal happiness, doesn't that mean I'm selfish, right? I would love to have to see others being happy, and my happiness I would like to put it down, right? So the definition or the reason that he gives here is, survey after survey shows that it is unhappy people who tend to be most self-focused and are often socially withdrawn and even antagonistic. Happy people, in contrast, are generally found to be more sociable, flexible, and creative, and are able to tolerate life's daily frustrations. So in other words, like how while we are traveling in flight, we are always advised to put our mask first before we start helping others. It's just the same way. When we are completely happy, that's when we are empowered to help others become happy as well. So when we prioritize something like, oh, I just want others to be happy, I don't care about my happiness, I'm giving them more importance than me. If that's the mindset, if that's your point of view, it is not sustainable. Because when you are unhappy, obviously you cannot help others to become happy. Most importantly, happy people are found to be more loving and forgiving than unhappy people. So yes, our own happiness is the first priority. And once we reach that, it becomes much, much easier. And guess what? We cannot stop ourselves from sharing our happiness with others. So that's like, happiness is that kind of a beautiful wave that goes to others as well. Researchers have done experiments demonstrating that happy people exhibit openness and a willingness to reach out and help others. The source of happiness is one of the other sections of this book. Happiness is determined more by one's state of mind than by external events. Success may result in a temporary feeling of elation, or tragedy may send us into a period of depression. But sooner or later, our overall level of happiness tends to migrate back to a certain baseline. Psychologists call this process adaptation. Now, all of these sentences are directly coming from the book. And note the point where he says that happiness is our state of mind rather than the external events. So if we tend to return to our characteristic baseline level of happiness, so imagine your level of happiness is maybe at 50 out of 0 to 100 scale, right? And when you have a sudden success in your life, you might get few more clients, or you might win a jackpot or win a lottery, whatever things that you want to happen, and it happens. That one day your level of happiness might reach 80%, for example. But what about few days down the line? It comes back to the same 50% level. Or let's say some tragedy happened in your life, your level of happiness might dip down to 20, 30, or 10. And then few days after that, it's gonna return back to this 50% level. So that's what he's talking about. And more important is, so here, if the external conditions are not affecting this baseline that we are talking about, then he asks what determines this baseline. And more important of all, can it be modified? Can we set a higher level of baseline for our happiness? There are steps we can take to work with the mind factor to enhance our feelings of happiness. Our happiness is a function of how we perceive our situation, how satisfied we are with what we have, right? So it's about how we are perceiving every event or situation that's happening in our lives. Quick example, let's say we had a financial distress. If we have the same financial distress can be looked at from 1,000 different points of view. So if our point of view is that, oh, if my bank account is low, if I'm financially unsuccessful, then I'm not worthy of living, then in that point of view, someone might even take a decision to quit their life, right? On another point of view, let's say another person is looking at the same financial distress happening in life as, oh, that's something that's telling me that I have something to learn here. So what is it that I'm trying to learn? And if the same person has the point of view of taking it as a challenge and finding the solution to it, overcoming that distress, that's a different point of view. So that's what he says about perceiving the situation in a different point of view. In Buddhism, there is a reference to the 4 factors of fulfillment or happiness: wealth, worldly satisfaction, spirituality, and enlightenment. So that is from the Buddhism practice. So there are certain key elements to happiness. First is, of course, good health. All of us need good health in order to be happy. Good health is considered to be one of the necessary factors for a happy life. Another factor is our material facilities, or the wealth that we accumulate. Obviously, all of us need enough financial stability for us to be happy. And the additional factor is to have friendship or companions. We need a circle of friends with whom we can relate emotionally and trust. So that is a third factor of happiness. Now, but in order for an individual to be able to fully utilize these factors towards the goal of enjoying a happy, fulfilled life, your state of mind is key, and it's crucial. So even though these 3 different things that we usually say as health, wealth, and relationship, even though these 3 areas of our life determine our happiness, he says what is even more important is our state of mind, and he has amazing examples to this. Without the right mental attitude, these other 3 things that we spoke about have very little impact on our long-term feelings of happiness. Example, if you harbor hateful thoughts or intense anger, then it ruins your health. Thus, it destroys one of the factors of your happiness. Also, if you are mentally unhappy or frustrated, then physical comfort is not of much help, right? If you are feeling this intense anger towards somebody, regardless of you have absolute good health, is not going to give you the happiness that you are seeking. On the other hand, if you can maintain a calm, peaceful state of mind, then you can be a very happy person, even if you have poor health. Even if you have wonderful possessions, when you are in intense anger or hatred, you feel like throwing them or breaking them. At that moment, your possessions mean nothing towards your happiness. Even if very close friend will appear to you to help you, It might as well seem like as if it's quite annoying when you are in anger, right? You don't want to talk to anybody when you are in anger. So as you can see, it is the mental or our mental attitude or whatever is going in our mind is what is deciding our happiness, regardless of the three major areas of life that we discussed. So today you might think, oh, if I reach this kind of wealth, I'm going to be happy in my life. If I have perfect health, I'm going to be happy in my life. If I have amazing relationship partner, I'm going to be happy in my life, right? That's our normal way of thinking. But what if these different areas of your life is not the true factor towards your happiness? Rather, it is your mind and your mental attitude which is deciding your happiness. All of this indicates the tremendous influence that the mental state, the mind factor, has on our level of happiness. As long as there is a lack of the inner discipline that brings calmness of mind, no matter what external facilities you have, they will never give you the feeling of joy and happiness that you are seeking. For example, how many millionaires and billionaires are there on earth who are not happy in their lives, who are going through relationship divorce and lots of other problems that they are facing in their lives, right? So can money really give us happiness? Might not be. So again, coming back to the mind and the mental attitude of everything. On the other hand, if you possess this inner quality, a calmness of mind, a degree of stability from within, then even if you lack various external facilities, it is still possible to live a happy and joyful life. There would be a lot of people who are actually having a happy life. For example, a lot of Buddhists, for example, they might not have the amount of material possession that we have in our lives. They might not have the amount of relationships or the health that we might have in our lives, but they are much more happier than us. So again, because they have that training of how to have that inner discipline with their mind. Another internal source of happiness closely linked with an inner feeling of contentment is a sense of self-worth. Now that's a huge topic in and itself, right? Self-worth. And mostly we usually tie our self-worth to the amount of material possession or the wealth that we have in our lives. But he says there is another source of worth and dignity from which you can relate to other fellow human beings. You can relate to them because you are still a human being. You share that bond, and that human bond is enough to give rise to a sense of worth and dignity. That bond can become a source of consolation in the event that you lose everything else. So he also gives this example of when Dalai Lama from his country, I think he comes from Tibet, and he lost his country. Something happened while he was growing up, and he had to come out of the country and things of that nature, where he lost all his relationships, his material possessions, obviously, and basically all areas of his life was destroyed. But he says still he had his self-worth, because his self-worth is not dependent upon his material possessions or his relationships or his society status, the so-called status, right? He says his sense of self-worth is based on the factor that he is a human being. And in order for us to understand this, maybe you might have to read the full book. But the essence of that is just by being a human being itself is such, he takes this as a gift, right? He says, oh, I am a human being. That's the biggest gift that I have got in my life. For example, animals do not have the way to analyze and change and improve their lives, whereas as human beings, we have that power. What if just by being a human being itself is such a gift for us? And what if we can base our self-worth on just being, just that human being, and you can relate. It's about most of our self-worth, again, we kind of compare with others, isn't it? So what if you can still relate to others in the way that I'm a human being and you are a human being, and that's our bond? And what if we can place our self-worth on that? This is over and beyond everything. It might need 1 hour worth of explanation. But anyways, source of self-worth. You can have a wealthy, successful person whose source of dignity and sense of worth is only material. Then, so long as his fortune remains, maybe that person can sustain a sense of security. But the moment the fortune waves, the person will suffer because there is no other refugee, because his source of self-worth is dependent upon his wealth. You can have another person enjoying similar economic status, but that person is warm, affectionate, and has a feeling of compassion. And this feeling of compassion is what he calls as that human bond, right? And that person has another source of worth that gives him or her a sense of dignity. There is less chance of that person becoming depressed if his or her fortune happens to disappear. Now, this is another huge, humongous uh, block that I've seen in a lot of my clients with the self-worth issues, because we usually normally place the self-worth on material things. And of course, that is what I was doing as well. If my bank account is zero, my self-worth is zero, right? Which is not the case. We have to learn to disassociate from our wealth, disassociating our self-worth with from our wealth. The highest happiness is when one reaches the stage of liberation, at which there is no more suffering. That's the genuine, lasting happiness. True happiness relates more to the mind and to the heart. We don't need more money. We don't need greater success or fame. We don't need the perfect body or even the perfect mate. Right now, at this very moment, we have a mind which is all the basic equipment we need to achieve complete happiness. So let's not put our happiness to a later time, stating, when I have this much money in my bank account, I'll be happy. When I have this perfect health, I'll be happy. When I have a perfect mate, I will be happy. What if we can cultivate that happiness right now in this moment? Because all that matters is our mind chatter, and we have the ability to change our minds. The first step in seeking happiness is learning. We first have to learn how negative emotions and behaviors are harmful to us and how positive emotions are helpful. Through this process of learning, of analyzing which thoughts and emotions are beneficial and which are harmful, we gradually develop a firm determination to change. Feeling, now the secret to my own happiness, my own good fortune is within my own hands. I must not miss this opportunity. So that's what he says about how we can make this decision. And of course, learning and education, as we all know, is the major factor to all of this. And the very reason why I do this reading of different books is about, as you might have been seeing for the past few weeks, the more information that we have, which collides with the highest truth of everything, the easier for us to let go of all our limiting beliefs and the regrets that we might have in our lives. The more sophisticated your level of education and knowledge about what leads to happiness. As you can see, it's not about the level of education in the so-called human world, where we see the master's degree or the MBA or whatever, PhD. That's not the level of education he's talking about. He's talking about the level of education and knowledge about what leads to happiness and what causes suffering. The more effective you will be in achieving happiness. Feelings of love, affection, closeness, and compassion brings happiness, as we all know. Within all beings, there is a seed of perfection. However, compassion is required in order to activate that seed, which is inherent in our hearts and minds. And one of the major reasons why we might not be happy about ourselves is because we might think that I am imperfect. I don't have this success. I don't have this health that I want. I don't have this. I don't have that. But what if we are still perfect, exactly as we are? And we will be able to understand our own perfection only when we have compassion. First is compassion towards ourselves, and from there comes in compassion towards others. Genuine compassion is free from all forms of attachments. Now, what he calls as this genuine compassion is what I think relates to the unconditional love that we are talking about. So when he says genuine compassion, he says about compassion that has no attachments to it. Meaning, when you have compassion towards your mate who's living with you, there is this kind of expectation that, oh, I will love you if you do this, this, and this. If you love me back, I'm going to love you. So that is the type of, somebody is unmuted, give me a second. Okay. Yep. So coming back. So that type of compassion where we are expecting something in return is not what the compassion he's talking about. He's talking about the genuine compassion. In my own words, I also maybe would be able to call it as unconditional love, right? There's no conditions attached to that kind of compassion or to that kind of love. Genuine compassion is based on the rationale that all human beings have an innate desire to be happy and overcome suffering. Just like myself, everyone are seeking their own happiness. In developing compassion, one could begin with the wish that oneself be free of suffering, and then take that natural feeling towards oneself and cultivate it, enhance it, and extend it out to include and embrace others. Again, from throughout the book, it always says starting with oneself. Start with that compassion towards yourself. And if you have genuine compassion towards yourself, then there should be no self-sabotaging. Then there should not be you punishing yourself. When you face with some kind of failure in your life, you should be able to become your own best friend, right? So if you have your best friend had something lost in her life, how would you be to her? Will you be accusing her, blaming her, abusing her, or would you be rather taking care of her, supporting her, encouraging her, motivating her? So that's what we do with others. But what is it that we do with ourselves when we are met with a failure, when we are met with a loss or some kind of challenges in our lives? We start self-sabotaging ourselves that I'm not good enough, right? I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy of it. That's the type of self-talk we are talking to ourselves. What if we can change that and become the best friend? And that's what is the genuine compassion towards ourselves. Okay, so that is the end of my review of the book. There's so much more to it. Every time I read these books, I kind of highlight things that I want to share in this particular review that I'm doing for 30 minutes. And if you look at the book for this time, almost every page has something to be highlighted. And I was like, what am I going to do? I have 30 minutes to review this book, and every page, every word in the book is so amazing. And I would highly, highly recommend that you read it, and it's going to change your perspective about life and, of course, your overall level of happiness. Okay, so today's interesting. Okay, today's silent mantra meditation is going to be Om. We are going back to the basics of all. Om is the sound with which the universe itself is created, and Om rises from pure consciousness. Listening to Om mantra inside of us helps us reunite with the divine and raise our consciousness. If the Om is stopped for even a microsecond, the whole universe, as we know it, would disappear instantly. So that's the power of Om, and Om is the primordial sound with which the whole universe is created. It's not was created, because it is being created every second. So when we are saying this word Om within us, so what silent mantra meditation for the new members here, during the 1 hour healing session that we are doing, we will be doing a 15-minute silent mantra meditation in which I will be silent, all of us will be silent. All we will be doing is repeating this mantra in our minds, and we will be hearing it in our minds. Why this is done is because it's not the mantra itself. Instead, it is the sound of that particular, it's the sound healing, right? So it's the sound of that particular mantra which helps us do that healing process from within. And it's important that we are not saying it loud with our voice, rather we are just listening it inside, because if it's the silence that will help us reunite with our soul and with the divine. So that's why we are doing this 15-minute. Okay, so next week I have the 3 waves of volunteers and the new earth. Dolores Cannon is one of the greatest past life regression therapists of all. She has created amazing healing modality called QHHT, and she has literally done past life regression for more than thousands of people. And all of her books, I think there are about 17 to 18 books that she has written. All of this doesn't come from her. It comes from the information that her clients say when they are regressed back to different past lives. So I know for certain that every information contained in this book is coming from the highest truth. And this is going to be different altogether from all of the books that we have read so far, because what this is going to reveal us is about, again, the highest truth that the earth doesn't know, that the humans around you will never know for sure. And this particular book especially is about volunteers meaning souls who have volunteered to come to earth in order to help with the transition that the earth is going through. And when you read this book, you will also understand and know about the divine planning behind all of the coronavirus and all of the, we call it the disasters of earth, but it's actually a pure, beautiful divine planning to help us race and move to our next phase of humanity. So this book is going to be amazing. I'm just waiting for the next week. So that's about it for today. We are going to get started with our healing session. You can drink some water, sit in a comfortable position, and we will be closing eyes for the next 1 hour. So make sure you're absolutely comfortable. Okay. Okay, so you can close your eyes. Take a deep breathe. A deep breathe in and a deep, long breathe out. And let's allow all of that information that we learned about happiness to sink in from our conscious mind into our subconscious mind. Allow it all to settle down. And today, let's work on changing our perspective, changing our mental attitude towards our life. And let's tap into the highest truth of ourselves and of our happiness. And breathe it in and allow all of that to settle down. And slowly let's get down from our minds and enter into our hearts. Focus into your heart and feel the vibration of your heart. See it as if like energy ripples going out from your heart in all 360-degree around you, forming your energy field around you. See the beautiful energy waves coming out from your heart, and see your personal energy field and with your mind's eye, with your third eye, look around your energy field. This energy field is what you are, is who you are, your beautiful soul. And let's get out from our human self and enter into our soul and see that beautiful spark of light in the center of your heart that creates you, that creates your energy field, which is connected to the universal consciousness, and expand this beautiful spark of light throughout your body and expand it out of your body into your energy field and expand it even bigger throughout the whole building you are in. And as you expand it, see how everything changes into pure white light energy. See and open up your inner eye and see the truth of who you are. See the truth of the building that you are in, and understand that everything that you are seeing with your human eyes is just a false illusion. And everything that we perceive about ourselves, about our human self, is also therefore just a false illusion. Who are you? Who are you in your highest truth? And what have you come here for? And all the regret and worry that you have about your past, does it contain any truth? All the regret and worry that you have in your life right now about yourself and about your life, is there any truth in your worry? And do you see how you are playing this game of life? And do you see that you have chosen to play this game? And are you ready to look at yourself playing this game and laugh at yourself for having these false beliefs about yourself? Expand your soul, your energy field even bigger throughout the whole state that you are in. And see your energy ball expanding like a balloon, changing and converting everything into just pure white light energy. The trees and the mountains and the birds and the fruits. And see that you are one with everything. And understand that everything that you had been perceiving about your human self has nothing to do with the truth of you, your soul. You are truly a magnificent, multidimensional, universal being. Who have all the abilities to change everything in this whole universe. Step into your true power and see the truth of you. Letting go your regrets, your worry, your anger and frustration about life. Letting go of all guilt and shame that you had been hanging on to for years and years. For it is not true. You are just this beautiful soul who came from the unconditional love to play this game, just to learn few lessons. And when you go back home, you become that true self of unconditional love. What would it take for you to bring that unconditional love into your human self? Loving yourself unconditionally for everything that you do, for everything that you are, for everything that you have achieved, and for everything that you have not achieved. What would it take for you to love your failures? And what would it take for you to accept and allow the so-called losses to happen in your life? Because that doesn't affect you. Let's expand it now. Expanding yourself even bigger throughout this entire universe. Going out of the earth, out of all the planets, out of all the galaxies, into the planes of existence, out of the fourth and the fifth plane of existence, and moving straight through the sixth plane and opening up into the seventh plane of unconditional love of the source, and becoming one with the Creator, with the all that is, with the Absolute, of which you are just a small part. You are this beautiful spark of the all-knowing Creator, or the source, or the divine, or the universe, whatever you would like to call it as. And see the door to the seventh plane opening up straight above you. And see this beautiful, unconditional love, white, sparkly, liquid light. And allow it to be showered on you, on your human self. And be in the shower and allow yourself to receive that unconditional love of pure source energy with no conditions attached. The source, the divine, doesn't say that I will love you only if you achieve this, because there are no conditions. And the divine sees the perfection in you. Everything that has ever happened in your life and is ever gonna happen and is happening is all perfect according to the divine plan. And so where is the need for any regret? And what would it take for us to look at our lives from a new perspective? What if we can take a new glass, a new specs that we can put in our eyes and look around and see that our life has been absolutely perfect and you have been doing an amazing job, perfect according to the plan that you created even before you were born. What if the source, the creator, your guides, your angels, all of them are thrilled with everything that you have done in your life so far? And what if you are the only one feeling the guilt and the shame and the regret and the worry? And let's now, all of us, walk into this beautiful healing temple made of beautiful white crystal, shining and glittering in the seventh plane, which looks like beautiful white clouds, as if walking on the clouds. And let's now enter into this huge dome in circular shape. Walk into this healing temple and look around. Look at your friends who are all in this healing session with us together. Meet and greet them and look around. You will see beautiful divine beings full of unconditional love, who has no judgments towards you, who is absolutely thrilled with who you are and what you are doing, who are appreciating you and congratulating you for everything that you have done in your life. And you will see amazing, beautiful alchemy symbols. You will hear the sounds of the bells, of the singing bowls, and you can smell the incense. You can smell the beautiful flowers and see and feel the love that resides within this healing temple. And feel that highest energy vibration. The second that you step into this healing temple, itself starts this healing process for you. And see the beautiful crystal bed on the floor, right in the center of the healing temple. And we are now walking on this crystal bed and sitting in a circular shape, and you will see crystals of all colors with amazing healing energy in them, glittering and shining, that has the ability to help you let go of all the unwanted false beliefs that you are holding on to, all the falseness that had been programmed in your mind from your childhood, all the untruth that you believe about yourself. And this also has the ability to help you align with your soul's purpose. And let's hold our hands right and left, every one of us sitting in the circular shape, giving and receiving the healing energy that each of us are absorbing from these crystals. And now I'm calling in all of your guides and angels. And I'm calling in my guides and angels. Each of us have an amazing set of divine beings, gods and goddesses, guides and angels, your guardian angels, whatever you would like to call them as. And see hundreds of guides and angels and gods and goddesses around us, sitting in beautiful circles behind us, around us. And I'm asking all the guides and angels, the gods and goddesses, to help us in this healing session, to help each one of us release what doesn't serve for our highest good, and helping us release our negative emotions that is causing suffering in our lives, and helping us absorb positive emotions of love and joy and compassion that leads us to our happiness. And every breath that you take in, you are breathing in the positive emotions of love and joy. And every breath that you release comes from within you, releasing your negative emotions of guilt, shame, worry, regret, rejection, anger, resentment, fear that you are holding on to. Breathe in love and compassion, and breathe out fear, guilt, shame, and worry, and anger and resentment that doesn't serve you any longer. I'm calling in all the divine, beautiful spirit animals. Each of us may have more than 9 spirit animals. I'm calling in all of them who would like to contribute to our healing session today. And I'm asking all the spirit animals and guides and angels to send us their healing energy. And now I'm calling on the source creator, all that is. You will see the beautiful tunnel of light coming right in the center of the dome and expanding throughout the healing temple. You will see the beautiful glittering golden sparks, and allow yourself to be showered in this unconditional love. And let this unconditional love of the Source Creator release our negative emotions, and let it download and install the positive emotions, the positive beliefs about ourselves. And feel the love and compassion for yourself. For you are your first priority. Without you loving yourself, you cannot share your love with others. What if you can become this container of unconditional love, walking through this earth, overflowing with unconditional love to everyone around you? So take in, absorb and breathe in, and fill up your container of unconditional love. And now invoking the violet flame of transmutation. And you will see this beautiful violet flame. Violet flame is powerful, that when it touches you, when you feel it around you, it has the ability to change everything in your energy field, everything that is not of the highest truth. And see this violet flame right in the center of the circle, expanding throughout the healing temple in a huge height above us from the ground. And see yourself sitting in this violet flame all around you, within you, and feel it in every single cell in your body. See that violet color. See the glittering golden flame, and breathe it in and feel it touching your skin, for it is not hot. It's just warm and comfortable. And anything and everything that you as a soul are ready to let go at this time as a result of the lessons that you have learned throughout this lifetime and through this particular session. Let's offer it all to this violet flame. All the changes that has to happen in your life at this time. Let this violet flame open you up. Open up this new world. Open up this door to your new life. For it is now the time to change yourself and change your life. And let's now focus into your throat chakra. And I want you to feel in and look within and see what color does your throat chakra look like. Is it dark or is it bright? Does it have heavy energy or does it feel light? What texture does it look like? And what shape does it have? Look within. And now see a beautiful screen opening up in front of you, like a huge movie screen. And I'm going to ask you a question for which the very first answer, the very first memory that comes is the right answer, and you will be able to see that playing in this movie screen. When is the very first time you were asked to shut up in your life? It might be in your childhood. It might be your mom, father, or anybody else who said, "Don't open your mouth, do not talk." Or it might be just a feeling, even though they might not have said it, that you are not worthy of your words. Your words are not worthy to be spoken. And that communicating your truth will bring in problems in your life. When is the very first time that your throat chakra got affected? Who shut down your words of speech, your words of truth? And you will see the scene or the memory in the movie screen. Look at that child that you were, didn't know what to speak, wanted to speak but didn't know how to express herself. When is the very first time you learned not to express yourself? And now I want you to rerun that memory, that scene once again. And any kind of emotions that this brings up, allow yourself to feel it and expand it throughout your energy field. Any resentment, fear, anger, anxiousness, any other emotions that this brings up, feel the emotion. What are the emotions and feelings that that little child is going through? And now I want you to step in to the scene, to the movie screen, as your higher self, as your true self, the light being that you are, as your soul. And bless that child, the little child, who is fearful to speak. And I want you to place your hands over your inner child, your little child inside of you. And send this unconditional love that you are to this child. And see her throat chakra spinning in anti-clockwise direction, faster and faster, releasing all the darkness, releasing all the heavy energy, releasing all the fear that is stuck in your throat. And you might physically feel it in your throat as we do this process. And keep sending this unconditional white sparkly light into that little child's throat. And see it transforming as it spins, releasing all the stuckness, all the clouds of energy, heavy energy, black energy, just releasing out. Then I'm asking the source energy to download you with what would it take for me to speak my truth, communicate my highest truth of who I am and what I am here for. What would it take for me to open up my throat and allow myself to speak the words of wisdom that comes from within me, whether it is with your relationships, people around you, clients, and everywhere that you are blocking yourself from being visible to the world. Let's uncreate, delete, and destorry it across all time, dimension, space, and reality in this beautiful violet flame of light. And every way that you have blocked yourself with guilt and shame from any of your past experiences, every way that you believe that you are not worthy, that your words are not worthy to be heard by others, everywhere you are trying to hide yourself, let's uncreate, delete, and destorry it across all time, dimensions, space, and realities. And see all of those energies around you that you have built around you to hide yourself, vanishing away in this violet flame, and allow yourself to release it. And I'm asking the source energy to download you with, I'm ready to be myself. I'm ready to claim all my gifts and abilities. I'm ready to value everything that is me. My thoughts, my words, my emotions, my feelings, my beliefs, my points of view. I'm ready to value myself. And I'm ready to value my gifts and abilities. And I'm ready to use my gifts and abilities in service of others. And I'm ready to serve the world with my talents and gifts and skills and abilities. My words are worthy to be heard. My words are of great value to this world. I'm ready to claim myself, all of me, back into myself. And see all of that downloads those energies of the words and beliefs entering in through the top of your head, going through your throat, and see your throat chakra absorbing all of that, and see it settle down in your heart. We are now starting with the silent mantra meditation. I will be silent for the next few minutes, and you will continue repeating this mantra in your mind over and over again. If any thoughts comes up, allow it to come up. Do not judge or fight with it. Just let it flow. As soon as you become aware of your thoughts, come back to your mantra and keep listening it over and over again. I will repeat the mantra 3 times and I will be silent for the next few minutes. Om. 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 Taking a deep breath. And now, on the same screen, you are gonna see a different you. I want you to see yourself walking into a stage with thousands of people ready to listen, sitting in front of you. See yourself walking onto the stage. And I want you to go ahead closer to the mic and hold the mic. And look at yourself. What dress are you wearing? And look down at your shoes. How beautiful do you look? And see the expression in your face. Are you smiling? Are you nervous? Is there any fear? Let's uncreate and delete and destory all the fear and anxious anxiety, any kind of limiting negative emotions that's coming up, uncreating, deleting and destoring it across all time, dimension, space and realities, across all your levels. And see the heavy energy just releasing from your throat, from your energy field. For you are now absolutely ready to speak your truth in front of thousands and thousands of people. You're going to tell them your story of your life, all the hurdles, all the struggles that you went through, and everything that you learned through the process. Feeling proud of who you are. And I want you to listen to your words and see yourself speaking. You will now hear yourself speaking about your services that you offer, what it is that you are doing in this world. How are you serving others? See yourself talking about your healing modality or whatever service that you are doing, and tell them, thousands of people sitting in front of you, tell them how you can transform their lives. And look at thousands of eyes looking at you. See the confidence in their eyes that you can help them achieve what they want in their lives. And see yourself ending your speech and see your audience completely filled with happiness and joy and so much of excitement, clapping and appreciating for everything that you have spoken. For they are ready to receive your service. And see yourself with tears of joy, standing in front of them with complete gratitude for yourself, for who you are, for what it is that you are doing in this world. And feel the love for yourself and thanking yourself for who you are. And let's bring this future self of you coming back to the healing temple, bringing in this future self of you who has no fear to speak her truth, who is confident, courageous, brave to express herself, who values herself, who is compassionate and loving and kind towards herself, who is bold, bringing her back right to the top of your head. And let's now merge her into the present you. See her entering in through the top of your head and allow yourself to receive your future self into you as she comes down, and feel her energy entering in through your crown chakra right at the top of your head, and see your crown chakra opening up to receiving and merging with her crown chakra. Coming down into your third eye, see your third eye opening up to receive all of your future self into you. Clearing up and coming down into your throat. See your throat chakra transforming into hers with that level of confidence and courage, bold and powerful, ready to speak your truth to the world around you. And see her energy entering into your heart chakra. Open up your heart and receive her energy. Feeling the same level of love and compassion that she has for herself. And entering into your solar plexus, opening up your solar plexus and feeling into the power, the highest power that you have, that she has, which is merging into you, coming down into your sacral chakra, right below your navel. This beautiful orange color, opening up your sacral, allowing all the limitations to be released and becoming your future self. And see her energy entering into your root chakra. Allow yourself to open up your root chakra. Breathing her in completely and allowing yourself to become your future self. Completely, exactly as she is. Releasing your fear from your root And see this heavy energy releasing out. And see all of your chakras beautifully aligned. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and beautiful purple and violet. Perfectly aligned and supercharged, ready to go into this world and be yourself. And our love, let's now ground you. So see her energy going straight down, down through the chair or the bed that you're sitting in, right down through the floor, down into the earth, going down through all the rock layers, going down thousands of feet below, through all the water layers, through all the lava and the black layers below, and entering into the heart of Mother Earth, and rooting yourself, grounding yourself completely into the earth. For you are now ready to manifest your dreams on this earth, and you have to be grounded to do this. And see beautiful healing light from Mother Earth coming straight up through all the layers, entering in through your root chakra, opening up and charging up all your chakras, ready to manifest your dream life. And breathe this beautiful energy of Mother Earth into you. We are now coming back, bringing all of your energy down, thanking the healing temple, the guides and angels, the source, the creator, the universe, the divine, thanking everyone in this call with us. Taking a deep breath and spread your energy completely throughout your body. Wiggle your hands and toes. Stretch yourself a little bit. And you can slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Drink some water. Okay. How are you all doing? Okay, so give yourself some time, drink some water.
Thank you, Vishnu. That was lovely.
Thank you, Rochelle. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute.
Not a problem. Thank you, dear. All right, I'll let you go. Drink some water, take some rest. See you next time. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your messages. See you next week. Have a wonderful week of transformation and changes and massive shifts in your life. Bye-bye. Love you, love you, love you. Bye-bye.